Live. No. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala al-ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Sayyidina Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am live, alhamdulillah. I hope you had a fantastic Eid. I hope you had an even more fantastic Ramadan. This Ramadan felt a little bit different because, we are not used to such short days. We're used to fasting for long days, subhanallah. Now, as you know, on these lives, I come and I make myself available for any questions that you have or that you're wondering about, or any advice that you're looking for in terms of business, money, even careers. Ideally, these sessions are about business. And obviously, this is something I strongly encourage all Muslims to think about. Even if you have a job that you absolutely love, I think all Muslims should also have additional streams of income, and there's nothing stopping you having a little side hustle. Now, why is that important? Is because your main income is not guaranteed. So the intelligent person is going to try and diversify a little bit. That's number one. Number two is that small little side hustle can become something big in the future. A small side hustle can become something big in the future, and that's what's happened with me. I started a small side hustle which was basically property related, and subhanallah, we now employ about 11 people. We're turning over 600-700K a month. Subhanallah, it's crazy. So you never know where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put your rizq and how big it can be. So I've got some questions coming in right now on Instagram. First one is, mashallah, we got brother Ali joining me, who was with me in i'tikaf. Really good to have you, brother Ali. Someone is asking, is the Amazon business still lucrative? Now, I looked at Amazon FBA ages ago, when it was actually lucrative and when it wasn't so competitive. The problem I have with Amazon FBA, and the reason why I wouldn't do it personally, is there's so many moving parts. You need to have a good product, you need to have a good supplier, you need to have good luck to make sure that your product is coming in and out properly, your shipments are coming on time. You need to have a lot of good reviews. You need to be lucky enough to be in a niche where you don't suddenly have new competitors popping up every other day. I just can't see it as a long-term business. People have made huge amounts of money in Amazon, but these are the guys who started 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 5 years ago. Now, there may still be a way to make good money from Amazon. I myself am not too vested. I'm not too interested in that side. E-commerce in general, yes. E-commerce in general, we're seeing a lot of really interesting brands coming up. But the problem I have with physical products and things like that is, firstly, you need money to buy your first order. You'll need thousands of pounds to buy your first order. Then you need to be confident enough that this is going to sell. When it sells, you may have doubled your money, but not all of it is profit. But now you have to put another order in, maybe a bigger order, or an order for another product. So you have to keep putting money into the business. You have to keep putting money into the business. And I've seen this firsthand. A very close friend of mine had an Amazon FBA business. He was turning over 3 million a year, and he constantly had to put capital in, to the point where he ran out of capital and he was getting investors to invest. So yeah, for me, that's not really the type of business you should start with. You want to start with something a bit easier, less capital intensive. So my simple answer to, is doing Amazon still lucrative, is probably not. Someone's asking on Instagram, I'm from Luton and have experience in sales in car business. How can I get a job with you? Okay, mashallah. If you're in Luton, bro, where it's a bit far. We're in all the way in Ilford in East London. Um, at the moment, we're not hiring at the moment, but stay in touch, inshallah. Whenever the need comes, we will definitely put something out on social media. So let me see if there's any questions here on TikTok. How can we avoid insurance when doing property? This is a very, very good question. Now, when it comes to insurance, it is a problem when it comes to Sharia and being compliant with Sharia. However, it's not always black and white. It really depends. For example, car insurance, all scholars agree. If you have to have it, you have to have it. You take it, and then you just get on with it. If there's any type of insurance that you must have in order to function in this society, the scholars are in agreement that you can go ahead and take it. Now the scholars are even, and I had a conversation with Mufti Faraz Adam, who's one of the sort of foremost dynamic, educated, UK educated muftis in the UK, who advises all of the big banks, the big fintechs, Islamic fintechs. He's saying even medical insurance, which is not a must, it's an optional thing. They're saying even that the scholars are allowing because of the situation. So we were in that situation for a while where we were worried about taking professional indemnity insurance. We were worried about taking content. We never took content insurance, but there's certain insurances we needed to take and we didn't because we were scared. And then when we asked him, he's like, yo, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing, we can go ahead. And you can go ahead. So there's certain landlords need to have building insurance as a must. So you can go ahead and take it. And this is based on what I've heard from scholars. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions. Drop shipping is better. FBAs, you don't have to purchase orders originally. Yes, I mean, if drop shipping is interesting for me, when I think of starting a business, I'm thinking, will this business still be here 10 years from now? For me, that's important. I'm not looking to start a business for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 year, 2 year. I want to do a business that will still be running 10 years from now. When I think of drop shipping, I'm not confident that that model, that you can constantly keep doing that type of model for the next 10 years. The world will change massively. Platforms will change massively. So drop shipping is not the type of thing I personally would start, but it's a great place to start. If you're at zero right now and you want to start your entrepreneurial journey, give it a go. Give it a go. Give it a go, because the first business you start is not necessarily the one. I've had to go through at least 13, 14, 15 different businesses until I found my feet properly and I got my teeth into the one. Now, hopefully you won't have to go through that many because you have a lot more information and guidance than I have. But yeah, I've done e-commerce, I've done buying and selling stuff, I've done the whole importing stuff, I've done the whole affiliate marketing stuff, I've done the whole social media management stuff. I've done a lot of the things that are out there, a lot. And alhamdulillah, they didn't work out, but they gave me skills and experience that I then moved and took with me onto the next venture and the next venture and the next venture. Because remember, you have to build the man before you build the empire. Very, very important. You have to build the man or the woman before you build the empire. Can you go and run a marathon if you haven't trained, if you haven't prepared yourself? No. Can you climb a mountain? Let's say you want to climb the Everest. You can't just rock up. You need the right equipment. You need to have done the right training, the right nutrition. You need to have practiced and practiced and practiced. You need to have a guide. You need to have the right supplies with you. It's not a joke. You can't just rock up and think you're going to do it. Same thing with business. Same thing with business. You can't just rock up unprepared and think you're going to get to the top. It's a while. It takes a while. Right. Someone is asking, what do you think about Airbnb? So with Airbnb, the answer is it depends. In London, there's a lot of restrictions with Airbnb. The demand is really good, but there's many restrictions. Um, Airbnb, for me, is not something I would get involved in personally. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying personally, I wouldn't, purely because too much headache, too much going in and out, seasonal income. Okay, seasonal income. Some months are completely dead. Some months are going to be really, really, really busy. I want my income to be steady. Um, it's scalable if you do it properly. But also, we now know that Airbnb is a Zionist company as well. So you got to be careful there. Do you really want to build a business based on a platform that is Zionist and has blood on their hands? That's another thing for us to think about, because that could sap all of the barakah out of your business. That could drain all of the barakah away from your business. Right. Someone here on TikTok. Let me see if I've missed anything, any message, any questions. MashaAllah. So we've got currently around, is there any Islamic finance company you actually recommend? It depends what you're looking for. If you're looking to buy a house, I would recommend Gatehouse. I would recommend FIDA. I would recommend Way Home. What type of business is good startup in 2024, would you say? It's almost like you're asking me what's the great holiday destination in 2024. It depends on who you are. It depends on who you are. There's no set answer for everyone. If you're a 47-year-old with zero tech skills, you may not be able to do a lot of the things that a 27-year-old who's really good at social media might be able to do. So my answer has to be tailored. So unless you tell me more about who you are, what skills you have, how old you are, where you live, what you like doing, I can't really give you. I don't believe in those, here are the top best business models. It doesn't quite work like that, because it really depends on who you are. Okay, so you mentioned, what's the best? Somebody's saying, I've already attended your live Zoom call. I would like to go ahead with the opportunity. I think you're referring to the live presentation that I do about the problem, me looking for business partners right now. Well, if you had attended the Zoom call, you would know exactly what the next steps would be. You would have the link to apply, make an application, and all those things. So I'm assuming you probably didn't watch all of it, in which case, yeah, we can't really accept an application from someone who hasn't watched the full presentation. We're looking for business partners, and if somebody is not able to give me a couple of hours to learn about the opportunity, you're not business partner material, I'm afraid. Someone is asked right now to my person. Someone is asking, we spoke about property management from Edinburgh. Right now, due to my personal reasons, I had to move to Dubai. I had messaged you regarding my property in Edinburgh. Alhamdulillah, we have people in Edinburgh, so we can manage properties in Edinburgh. If you, inshallah, drop me a message again, I'll be sure to look at it. Let me know which platform you send that to, because I get messages on 11 different platforms. It's a bit difficult for me to stay on top of it. I do have someone, I paid someone to stay on top of all my messages. So please try and send that again, inshallah. If the property is in Edinburgh and not like in a remote area near Edinburgh, we can help, inshallah. So here's an interesting one. Someone's asking, what about TikTok instead of Amazon? I've been fascinated seeing this new trend. And listen to this very, very carefully. I've been fascinated seeing a new trend of how people are selling their products. If I spend 20 minutes scrolling on TikTok, I will end up buying something. And I've bought a lot of stuff, things like, stuff like this, stuff like little gadgets for the house, and things that I would have never gone to Amazon and bought something like that. But because I saw an interesting video of the product in action, because it was presented to me in a very interactive way, and it got me interested, it got me excited, it got me keen, I just went ahead and bought it. So I think social selling, indirect selling, people don't like ads anymore. And most of these products that I've bought, it was basically someone using the product and saying, hey, this is really cool, you should also consider it. It wasn't the company trying to shove the product down my throat. I think that is the new way how a lot of e-commerce will happen. If you look at a company, Sunnah Supplements, how they're doing their marketing. If you look at, there's a company that I've bought a few things from, they're called Nur, Nuhr. There's another company that I saw that are doing incredibly well, selling on TikTok, Noir. They do fragrances for your car. And they're selling thousands and thousands of products a month. SubhanAllah, if they've had to get a massive warehouse recently, and they're selling all through content. I think that's the future. I'm actually interested. For the first time in my life, I'm now interested in e-commerce because I see this as a trend, and I think if you learn how to do this, so here's something for you guys. If you learn how to sell products on TikTok, if you master that one skill, you can make serious money. How can you take someone's product, random product, could be this, could be a phone case, it could be maybe some sort of some sort of gadget, it could be this even. How can you leverage things like short form videos, things like user generated content, things like tutorials, basically TikTok and Instagram platforms? How do you use that to get loads of sales? If you can study, analyze, and learn how to do that, you can go to any brand and they will pay you good money to run that as a service for them. But you have to invest a lot of time in understanding that science. It's a science. There's a way to do it. So that's a wicked business idea right now. Look at all of the top brands who are killing it on TikTok Shop, or who are doing really fantastic um, digital campaigns on through short form video, and learn, make notes, then offer that service to a smaller business for free. So look, I'm going to do this for free. I'm going to help you double and triple your sales through TikTok. All I want from you is you give me a really, really good testimonial at the end of it. It will give you an opportunity to practice and test and get better. Practice, test, get better. And then that's it. Before you know it, before you know it, you've unlocked a high value skill. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have like a home perfume business or home fragrance business or whatever, and I'm selling like £2,000 worth of these things every month. If you come and say to me, I can help you sell 5,000, 10,000 pounds worth every single month, don't you think I would be willing to pay you good money for that? So this is how you can start a service from a new trend that is taking shape. A new trend that is taking shape. Let me know in the chat, have you bought something from TikTok or Instagram? Like you saw a very short video and straight away you ended up buying it. Could be something small, something big, but has this not happened to you? Let me know in the chat. Thank you, Ryanology, for that question. Someone is asking, when renting out a property, do you recommend a letting agency? It depends. Again, it depends. If you can't manage it yourself and you don't have the time to learn how to manage a property yourself, all of the legislation around it, all of the compliance around it, how to find tenants, how to do all of the viewings. If you don't have time to do that, then you have no choice. You have to use a letting agency. But then if you're going to use a letting agency, use one that has a good track record, good credibility. They're professional. Don't go for any average agency, because you will suffer. I'm going to go to YouTube now, see what questions we have on YouTube. What is the best way to get into halal real estate as someone straight out of college or university? My answer to you, Brother Omar, would be to go and actually work for a business in real estate. If you're straight out of uni, you need to learn. You're not going to become a property tycoon straight away. You need to go and learn. Spend 2-3 years learning. We have guys in the office here, 20, 21, 22-year-olds. They're here to learn. They're not here to become a millionaire. They're here to learn. And then eventually they'll be able to fall in that track. So go to any company that is doing property management. That's halal. Go to any company who's doing property sales. That's halal. The companies who are doing things not in a halal way are the ones that are perhaps using finance, loans, and banking facilities to basically buy or develop property. Those are the ones you probably don't want to replicate. But there's no harm in learning from them too, because you could then figure out, how do I make this halal? So as a college, uni, or university student or graduate, don't worry about becoming a property tycoon just yet. Go and learn first. Mashallah, we have Brother Nishat on YouTube, fellow Bangladeshi like myself, who is residing in South Korea. That is incredible, mashallah. And he's a software engineer. How, what type of business can he start? As a software engineer, I would probably play to your strength. So I would probably look at something related to the digital world, to the tech world. And again, some of the an easy place to start would be learning marketing and helping tech companies with marketing. Or depending on what type of software company you're working for, you may notice certain gaps, you may notice certain issues. But again, without you mentioning, and again, there may be something that exists in America or in the Western world that doesn't exist in South Korea, for example, and that you can bring that to the market. Sister Aisha on YouTube is asking, when is the next masterclass? The next masterclass will be next Saturday, inshallah, 20th of April. And you can, I'm just typing in, you can register, inshallah, by going to sequoiaacademy.co.uk. Fantastic. Right, let me now pop back to TikTok. I see lots of questions coming through here. Um, tu- 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 tu. Um, how do I become a bushra? I'm not sure about that. Um, okay, so somebody says that he's filled in the form and nobody got back. Maybe because the application either wasn't strong or got lost somewhere. So I'm gonna have a look at it, inshallah. Right. Any good questions? Okay, someone's asking, I'm an architect and I would like to join your team. Now, we do property management. We don't do any builds or conversions or development. So we don't really need architects at this minute. But in the future, inshallah, we do plan to get into different things such as developments and things like that. But that's in the future. Right now, we're just focused on becoming the best management company in London. Okay, fantastic. So, any questions here on Instagram? Let's have a look. I am 18 years old. Shall I start drop shipping? You can have a go. Um, but with drop shipping, you've got to be careful though, because there are some Sharia concerns around it. So before you get started, do your research. Do your research, inshallah. Islamic Finance Guru has videos and blogs on this topic of drop shipping, whether it's halal or haram. Someone is asking, do you have a video on how you bought your first house without riba? Our intention is to own without riba, but we're finding it extremely hard. Well, I haven't bought a house without riba. What I do is I have a property business that makes, I think right now we're probably 700K a month in revenue, rental income, which is completely halal. We're not buying anything. What we do is a little bit different. So what I do is make money from property in a halal way. I'm not buying. Now, if you want to buy a house to live in and you're in the UK, you have many options. You can go to Gatehouse, you can go to FIDA, you can go to Way Home, if you have the money for it. If you have the money for it. Of course, if you've only got £5,000 to put down as a deposit, it will be extremely difficult. And that is the situation many people are in, where they want to buy, but it's just too expensive now. The only advice I have for you is simple: make more money. Make more money. Figure out how to make more money. That's your solution. Things get expensive, no problem. I'm just going to make more money. There's infinite opportunities in this modern world. SubhanAllah. I have a video editor who's probably earning more than a doctor back in Bangladesh. He just edits videos for me. And because he's good at what he does, he can demand a good wage. And when I looked at how much I'm going to be paying him every month for those videos, and I looked at how much a doctor earns back in that country, he's at a young age, he's earning more than a doctor. So if somebody can learn how to edit videos from Bangladesh and earn triple, quadruple what a normal person does, what the hell are you doing? There's so many ways to make money today. You just have to put your head down and get on with something. You may not make money for the first time, second thing, fourth and fifth, but you just got to keep trying until something clicks. Someone is asking a very interesting question on YouTube regarding the rent-to-rent model being riba-free. Is it completely riba-free as the homeowner may have purchased the property through a mortgage? So technically, would we be doing riba? That is not how the Sharia works. If you have a shop, the Sharia doesn't require you to investigate every person who's coming to your shop to see if the money they're giving you is halal, from a halal source or a haram source. You wouldn't be able to survive in that way. The Sharia asks you, are you doing anything halal or haram? Simple. Is your contract with your landlord halal or not? How the landlord got the property, how much he's paying in interest, mortgage, that is not something you will be held accountable for. So this is a common misconception. And mashallah, it comes from a place of concern and a place of taqwa. So I really appreciate that question, because I had that question as well when I started this. And when I consulted the scholars, they all gave me the same answer. Right, I'm getting really, really good questions today, alhamdulillah. What kind of business would you start if you can only dedicate 1 hour a day? Great question. If you can only dedicate 1 hour a day, your job is to figure out how to become more productive. Because with an hour a day, you ain't getting nowhere. It's like telling me, how can I climb Kilimanjaro with 1 step a day? It'll take you 15 years, bro. One thing that does come to mind is content creation. If you can only spend an hour a day, create some content for a specific niche that you're interested in. Do that for 10 years, 5 years. You might find that you've built a bit of an audience, and then you'll be able to start monetizing it, inshallah. Okay? If I only had an hour a day, I would pick a niche that I'm interested in, and I would just start creating content for that niche. We'll do it for 5 years, because obviously in an hour a day, actually no, an hour a day, if you do that consistently, adds up. You can do a fair amount of content. Within a year or two, you should have a decent enough audience where you can start monetizing. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're really, really, really passionate about cars. You love cars, everything to do with cars. Okay, fantastic. Let's now niche down a little bit more. Like, do you like performance cars? Do you like classic cars? Do you like Japanese cars? Let's niche down. And then let's now figure out how we can create content that you would enjoy watching and people like you would enjoy watching. So let's say you now start creating content that shows before and after transformation of classic cars, classic American muscle cars. And you doing that consistently every single day for 2 years. It's not costing you anything. You're just sitting there for an hour, looking for the right things, grabbing pictures from forums, grabbing pictures from YouTube videos, grabbing this, grabbing that. You're just repurposing content. After 2 years, you now have 200,000 followers on Instagram. And these are all car mad individuals. How do we monetize this? Well, first and foremost, there will be a lot of businesses who specialize in modifying classic cars. You can go to them and say, hey, listen, would you like me to advertise your business to my audience? Yeah, no problem. I've got 200,000 people who are absolutely crazy about classic cars. I can do a post for you, $3,000, please. And he's going to think, hold on, how much would it be worth for 200,000 people, possible customers and clients, to see an advert about my business? 200,000 people, £3,000, dollars. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll give you another example with the same niche. You can create a community, a paid community. I hope everybody's taking notes. You can create a paid community of people who want to knowledge share, who want to be in a community where they can ask questions like, I've got a classic American muscle car and I have a problem with the ignition. I need to ask someone who knows. I don't want to go to the garage. They're going to charge me too much money. I want to be able to go to a community where there's other guys in there, there's mechanics in there, and I want to be able to ask them all a question and get my answer. I want to be able to sell my car to a community. I want to be able to sell parts to a community, advertise things. So from the 200,000 people, let's just say a small fraction joins. 2,000 people now have joined your community and they're all paying $10 a month. How much is that now? 2,000 people paying you $10 a month to be part of this exclusive community. Brother Rubelpreneur, I'm dropping you some serious gems here today. That's a lot of money. That's $20,000 a month after 2 years of building a community. Okay, so I'm just looking for more questions. Somebody saying, I have my own rent-to-rent business and would love to partner up with you on the social housing side. Let's do it, bro. If you're London-based, we've got some interesting stuff going. We have a lot of stock of properties coming to us. So feel free to drop me a DM, mention that I have asked you to message me during the live, so that my VA will respond to you, inshallah, and then we can set up a conversation. Okay. Okay, if you have heard, if you have applied for my masterclass, which is coming up this coming Saturday, and you haven't heard anything back, don't worry. You will be sent all of the information within a few days. Okay, so all of the information is coming. There's going to be a Zoom link. You're going to get a text. You're going to get an email. We're going to bombard you to make sure you show up. So don't worry, inshallah. Okay, so I think, alhamdulillah, it was a fantastic session today. Dropped some interesting ideas there for you, and perhaps this is something that I can maybe spend a bit more time doing, is like thinking about what are some of the easy ways of getting into business. But I'll be quite honest with you, I'm a bit more interested in how do you help someone who's already in business go to the next level. Because when it comes down to starting a business, there's millions and millions of other people teaching this stuff. You can go and do a course on so many different things, whether it's Amazon FBA, starting a community, content creation, faceless YouTube channels, trading. There's so many things out there. You just got to pick one and get on with it. Pick one and get on with it. Make sure that it's halal. Make sure that it's something that you can commit to. Make sure that it's something that you can do for a long time, inshallah, and just get on with it. Right. So, my in terms of um, some people are complaining. You always talk about how you make money through property without riba, but you never explain the process. I've explained this on numerous times on these lives. I've explained it on my Instagram channel as well. There's videos about it. So you just have to do a little bit of digging, because it's unfair for everybody to hear it over and over and over again every single time I come to a live. Probably I should maybe make a dedicated video of how it works. And it's rental arbitrage. Very, very simple. Again, I kind of mention it every live, but obviously there's new people joining every week. So many of you maybe have missed it. But in terms of the masterclass Saturday, the link is here. Let me just type it in for you. I've typed it into YouTube. Let me type it into Instagram. I've just shared that on Instagram. You can register, and inshallah, I'll be explaining exactly what I do. I'll be explaining exactly what my plan is going forward and why I'm looking for business partners. And I'll be explaining exactly what that involves. Okay, fantastic. Barakallah fikum. So, um, mashallah, a lot of messages, and a lot of comments. Alhamdulillah. Uh, Brother, I've got an interesting one here. My Imam said mortgage is halal. He has bought 4 houses in that area. Go to your Imam and ask him what his qualifications are. And ask him to show you um, an actual fatwa. Excuse me, guys. I'm recovering from a cough. But yeah, be careful. Don't just believe what your local Imam says, because your local Imam may not even be able to define what riba is. Ask your local Imam to define, using Quranic and Hadith evidence, what riba actually is. And then you'll understand whether or not this guy knows what he's talking about. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.